everybody, it's Sandy Diana, and I am gonna just make a real quick video for you. I decided to make some key tags the other day. I am gonna have a little graduation celebration for my class. My second grade class of 2012 is graduating this year. I have followed them since 2012. These were the students that I had when I found out that I had breast cancer, and I missed half my school year with them, and they're very near and dear to my heart, and I've followed them all along. Anyway, I'm going to have a little graduation ceremony for them, or celebration with them, just inviting them to get them back together once again and have some pizza. And I decided I would like to give them some sort of a gift, but there's a whole class, so I'm not rich, I'm paying for a party. So I thought, all right, well, what could I do that would be really special? So I decided that I would make them a key tag. I have not yet put the clip on it yet, but with the little ring on it, it'll look just like that. And it's just a black background. And anyway, I'm going to kind of step you through the process, even though I've already started them, I've already made them, but I wanted to first show you what all I have done. So my first step is I have Stitch Era Liberty digitizing software that I have that I purchased from my company, that I purchased my machine from, which is Coldesi, and I have no affiliation with them. I'm not an affiliate. I would love to be, if Coldesi would like to make me an affiliate. I would love to, because I'm learning how to do this digitizing. So I first started out with a key tag, and if I'm not mistaken, I bought the key tag off of Etsy. I'm pretty sure I did, and then I have designed it from there. So I first designed my little cap. Now that I did design, I did digitize that. I got a graphic off of the internet, and I just brought it into my design software. And I can step you through that process by showing you. When I click on a new document, I would go to artwork, and I would open my image that I've already previously saved. Here is the image right here, and I will open it, click on that and open it, and then it comes in like this. So the first thing you want to do is to crop your image so that you don't have so much white background around it. So I'm going to crop my image like this, and that way it gives me a smaller section or segment. I guess I could even crop it even smaller. Let me see. Whoops, I guess it's not going, wait a minute. I must have done something incorrect. So let me click on it again. Object, go back to artwork, open my image, embroidery. Where am I? View. Now I don't know how to get to it. Select it. Okay, there we go. Select it. And now crop it. Get it even closer. The problem is that my tassel hangs down just a little bit. Okay. All right, that's a little bit better. So then I'm going to go over here to this little box right here, and I'm going to go to convert the object to and vectorize it. I've already done this, so I already know that if I click on less, if I go to 2 and I reduce it, oh wait, never mind, it is recognizing it. So you want to have as least amount of colors as possible when you vectorize, so you just have to play around with it to see how much it is. But it looks really jagged right there, but that's okay. When it vectorizes, what's going to happen? It cleaned it right up, didn't it? That's pretty cool. So now I'm going to return, and now my image is vectorized. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got like a little running edge around it. And then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to embroidery. There's a couple of ways you can do it, but I particularly like to do it with embroidery. I went over to embroidery. I could go to art to stitch, And that's where I could choose that, and I could go art to stitch intelligent or art to stitch area only, and I could do a couple of different things. But I chose to go ahead and just go to uniform area, and this is where I'm going to choose the area with my pattern, and I'm going to do auto complete. Click on that. I'm going to go over here, and now you can see I have like a little magic wand. So I'm going to click right here on my magic wand, and now you see that I've got some little running arrows around, running things around it. And then I'm going to click enter, and it will now, whoops, it didn't. Okay, and now it has vectorized that. I guess it did. Did it not respond? All right, and now I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to do this one. And I'm click enter, and then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say reprocess this. Well, maybe I need to confirm it. Okay, so now I have that and I have that, so they're all done. So now I want to I am going to actually, now that I've seen this, I want to go over here to my object manager and see what it has. Okay, so let's see, what did it do? Okay, it did not do my first one. So let me go back over here to embroidery, uniform area, area with pattern. It should have still remembered that I want to auto complete it. And confirm and edit it. So now I have that one. So now I have my pattern, my uniform pattern, and it's, you see you have an object manager, and you can tell it which kind of pattern that you want it to stitch out with. I'm going to just go up here at the very beginning and do a default. And I'm going to say okay. I want it black, so I'm going to change my color to black. And then it tells you right there all the different stuff about it. I don't usually change too much of it because I really don't know about all of it. You can add a border line to it if you'd like. I don't want to border line on it. And then if you go over here to more, you can make sure it trims after every section, and I have that already set as far as my part. So that one is done. So at this point in time, I'm going to reprocess this, and that did not turn out quite the way I wanted it. So I'm going to look at it, go back to my body. I'm going to try a different one. Okay. Reprocess this. Oh, that still didn't do too well. All right, so here's what we can do. We can go over here to view. And I think what I did was I changed my direction on it. I didn't like that direction before, so I wanted it to go a different direction. So I'm going to click off of it, and then I'm going to click on it again. And of course, it's not going to give me my directions. Oops, there it is right there. So these are my direction points. I want to edit my direction points, and I want them to go like that on my cap. So that is how you change the direction of your stitching. So let's reprocess this. And now that's the way it's going to go. Now I'm going to go back to view, and that's the way it ends up looking. And if it's still not slanted enough for you, and I'm also going to go over here and I'm going to turn off my vector. So that's where you can edit your stitches. Okay. And then this one right here, I want to see my, I want to see my direction points with this. I'm going to add them. I want to put my direction right here. I want this direction to go up and down. Okay, and then we'll reprocess it. And then that one's gonna go up and down. And I can see that the color is red. I want it black. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna view again. And there's my graduation cap, just like that. And then the rest of it, I just went with my lettering, and I went over here to embroidery, and you can choose your lettering, and I forget what I ended up using. I like to do the true type fonts, and then whatever font I have in my computer, it'll stitch to it. So here I'm just going to click on this one just randomly. Okay, and then I'm going to type up here 2022. Whoops, it didn't type. Why aren't you typing? 20. That is weird. What is going on with my keyboard? I wonder if my Bluetooth, you know what I think? My battery is going off on my keyboard. It must need to be plugged in, or either my battery is dead. I have a Bluetooth keyboard, and that's exactly what has happened. All right, so I can't do that. You're just going to have to see it. So I go back to here. I'm not going to save this. And so then at that point in time, I copied and pasted as many times as I needed it. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show you. I took and I put this in my, this is like a, I don't even know how big this hoop is. 20 inch, 18 inch. I don't really even know, but it's a big one. Anyway, you have to use the table with this. I learned the hard way. If you do not, this one kind of like will collapse on you and fall apart from the vibration, but you have to have the table underneath this hoop when you're getting ready to use this large hoop. I have an Avance 1501C 2020, and it is a touch screen. And so I'm going to, what I've done is I've already stitched out all of the caps and the 2022 on the gold. Now at this point in time, I want to put a backing. I've already pre-cut my backing. So I have black backing, and I'm going to try to do this holding on to this, but I don't know if I can. But you have to lift it up to get it underneath. And the problem with it is that the vinyl wants to grab a hold of my table. So I'm gonna have to just set you down a minute. Okay, so what I've done is I've lifted it up a little bit with my fingers, and now that I've done that, I should be able to easily push it up underneath the actual hoop. So you want to make sure that it went far enough underneath it to where it's underneath it, because you do have your tabs. So you want to make sure that you go further than just the caps, because you want it to be under the tabs. You want to make sure it's under both sides. It's clearly underneath that. So now what it is going to do is it's going to stitch the actual key tab around it. So I'm going to go ahead and push start again, and it will go around each one. At least once, stitching them in place. When I digitize this, I should have done it a little bit differently, but it's at this point in time, because I changed my mind midstream. So it's going to go to each one and stitch them down, so it won't. Hindsight, now that I've digitized it, I probably should have just had it completely stitch each patch as it goes, each key tag as it goes, but I had it in my mind to do something differently when I did it. But anyway, this is perfectly fine. It still works out just fine. So now I'm going to just let it run, and it's going to do its thing, and it's going to stitch it. It's going to go around one time with that stitch. That's like a placement stitch. And then it's going to come back afterwards, and it is going to put down a beam stitch that goes all the way around each one of the key tags, which gives it just some extra stability and extra support. I don't cut anything until it's all done. So I'm gonna let this just go ahead and like when I originally made it, I made 6 and then I went back and I added 2 more, and it was too much of a hassle to try to restitch it and figure it out. So I just left it the way it was because it's just for me. It's not like I'm selling it for anybody, but I'm just trying to show you how you can do it. There's lots of thoughts that you need to go through and put into it when you are stitching, when you are digitizing. It's lots of things you have to think about in order to do it. And it looks like my thing is not clipping the way it is, so I always go back and reset this when it does this and put it back in position, and hopefully that clip will stop leaving that great big long tail on it. We'll see what happens. It kind of, in stitching, it just kind of like vibrates off its point sometimes. So let's see if this one is better when it does it. Nope, it's still leaving a little bit of a tail. But I'm going to be trimming all of those tails off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It gets tired after a while. Well, maybe that one will do it. I'll bring it up even further. We'll see what happens in the next one, because I'm having to clean them up anyway. But yeah, I think that one's going to be way better, because watch. I still left a tail. I changed it again. Mine's better. But you'll clean up all of those tails. I just want you to see it stitch one of the beam stitch, and then I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to go show you the next process. I don't know what happened there, but you'll just clean up all of those little stitches after you're all done. So now it's going to go back to the very beginning one, and it's going to start doing a beam stitch all the way around. And that's going to give you some nice stitching all the way around each key tag. Okay, so in this part of the video, I'm going to show you the key tag, and I want you to see how it's kind of puffy and buckled up right there. And do you see how it's puffy? It looks like it's I really didn't want that puffy look to it. So I did a test on one, and I wanted to see if I could flatten it out, and I did. So I put it on my heat press for 5 seconds, and look at the difference. I just want you to see it side by side, the difference. There it is. So this one is nice and smooth, and this one is bulky. But I'm going to put that under the heat press right now. I am going to put a Teflon sheet under it. I got it set at 350 degrees, and I'm only doing it for 5 seconds. 5 seconds. So my heat press came from Amazon. I would like to invest in getting another one, because I have found that I'm very limited with the size. I probably should have changed my pressure on it, but I'm going to just time it for 5 seconds. I don't really want it on there any more than that. Okay, so this stitch out is all finished. I'm going to take it off the machine. Okay, and this is what it looks like off of the machine. As you can see, it's on the back. I'm not sure what happened right there, but sometimes it just gets wonky. Anyway, I'm going to undo right here, and then I'm going to cut this apart. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and get the next one set up. I have 8 more to make. So I'm making a total of 24, because I'm not sure how many students are going to show up. I really need to make one that says 2021 on it, because, and I'll probably just go back and make that a standalone, because I had one of my students graduated early, and he graduated 2021. So I'm going to Okay, so now we're in this part, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways of cutting the key tags apart. I have an electric cutter, so what I'm doing now is trying to get as close to the edge as possible to get a nice, clean, straight cut. I'm just trying things out. I'm not really sure which is the best way. The last ones I cut out completely by hand with the scissors. So this time I decided to try out my electric cutter to see if it would work better. In this part, I am now going to clean up this particular amount of key tags I've already put under the heat press. I have flattened them, and now I'm going back and just trying several different methods as to which is the best way to clean it up. I have a little pen that is a heat pen, so it gets real hot at the ends and it will just burn off the ends of the threads. I wasn't sure if that was the best way. Then I went back with my my little curved scissors right here, and thought, all right, well, let me try that to see if that's cleaning it up better. I like to do the same task at the same time because that speed things up. So I just, as you notice through the rest of the video, I'll do all the same things at the same time so that it speeds things up. So we'll just check it out. Now I'm going to use the rotary cutter and slash scissors. I off camera a little bit so you don't exactly see me completely, but I am using my quilting ruler and I'm putting it right on the edge of the key tags as I trim as close as possible. The problem with the rotary cutter is that you do have to put a lot of pressure to go through all of the layers of the vinyl. I switched out mats. I was using one mat and then I switched it out as I was using it because I was just testing different methods out. I wanted to show you. My husband is over there jamming. He is jamming quite a bit. Couldn't put all of his music on there because of the copyright. And I'm like, let me just show what he's doing. Check his licks out there. He caught me. He caught me as I was watching him. So here I am. I've repositioned the camera a little bit better to where you can see it. And I'm just trying to get it as cleaned up as possible. Problem with the rotary cutters, I do still have to use the scissors. There is no one way. I've learned there was no one way that was the best way. It's just whatever you wanted to use it. If you know a better way and you want to suggest it, you go right ahead and put it in a comment at the bottom. I am open for suggestions because I'm learning just like you are. I just thought I would put out what I did to show you. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to trim with the scissors to get the little key tag portion of it trimmed as close to possible. And it has rounded edges, so I want them rounded on the actual key tag. So I was going to tell you earlier about my mat. I just bought this mat, and if you can see right there where the rotary cutter is, you can see where the red part of the grid has worn off. So just from my using it today, first time ever, it all of the paint is coming off of it. So I decided that I'm returning that and I'm taking it back. It costs too much money for it to come apart. I mean, for the ink to come off of it just like that. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, if it's going to do that after one try, I won't have any ink left on it. My previous mat I'd had for 30 some years. And the reason why I got a new one was because it finally stopped doing that self-healing, and it was so many grooves in it I couldn't cut through it. So anyway, the mat from Joann's, don't buy it. I wouldn't it's not worth it. So it's going back, but I'm going to just continue cleaning up these key tags. There were 24 all total. So it is a process, but all total, I guess I really spent maybe about 4 hours making these 24 key tags. And part of it was that, just trying to figure out best ways of doing things. If I were to do it all over again, I would have it down pat. I would know what to do. I would have it more systematic, even more than what I've got it right now. I like to clean up my area as I go because this kind of makes a big mess. Now I'm setting up to put the snaps and the hardware on the key tags. I bought these kits from Amazon. They're nothing special. It's just what I bought when I first started out. If I make more of these, I'm probably going to want to use a different setup. I think that I should get a better type of punch system for the holes. I'm just doing one right now just to show you, and then I'm going to do all of them systematically. And I just marked all of them first to where I did a test so I know where I wanted them to be. So then I marked them all. And then I have a punch hole set that came with a little kit that I need to punch a hole before I try to put the snap in. I decided to, it's the snap I decided to use was more of a medium snap because it's not that thick of leather. There are 3 different sizes in the kits, really teeny tiny ones, the medium, and then a really extra long one. And I guess that would be for like more of leather. But you punch all of them first, and I'm almost finished with punching them. And then after this, some of them you still need to kind of clean out the holes, so the snap will be able to go through the hole a little bit easier. Clean up that area, and then I'm going to sort the snaps so that I can just easily pick them all up at one time. And I decided to use the magnet to try to get some of them out, and then I found out some of them are not magnetic, so some of them must have been made out of aluminum, which I only had about 2 of them that came out that were of aluminum. But I just want to get all of them sorted. I'm going to put the little tab in first, the bigger portion in first, of all of them. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put, as you notice, some of them couldn't go through, so I had to punch them with with the awl. I had to stick it back in there, and that happens. But anyway, the next step I'm going to do after I do this is I'm going to put the ring around the loops, and then I come back with the back side, and I put the snap. There I am putting the rings around them, because you want to make sure you don't forget that, because once you snap it together, guess what? It snapped. So I put all that on there, and then I'm going to come put the next piece on, and I'm just going to snap them together, and they should snap. And then you put them, a couple of the ones didn't want to snap, so I went ahead and stuck it up underneath the press and pressed it on. I do not have a cam snap press. I wished I had ordered it in the beginning, not knowing what I was ordering. I ordered it off of Amazon, but if I go to get another one, I will get a cam snap, because you can order so many accessories to do different things on the cam snap that I can't get with this one. But it still works, it's efficient, and I'm not going to just throw it away because I spent a lot of money for it, even so. Anyway, that's what I've got. So now I'm going to just go back and double check and make sure, and I'm going to put them underneath the setup. So now I'm going to put them up underneath the press. And you want to gently do this, because if you push too hard, it will actually poke your, it'll ruin your snap on both sides. So it is a fine line, but you can feel it when you push down, you can feel it click, and it pushes right on top of it. But just don't push too hard, because you'll ruin a lot of them. If you do ruin it and you get it on there and you can't get it off, I have a flat pair of wires that have a cutter on it. Just reach up underneath one side of the snaps, cut it, and it pops off right just like that. So now I'm just going to clean it all up so I can set it all up to take a picture, and then I'm all finished, except for maybe putting them in little baggies with a card from me as their teacher, to show them this is what they mean to me. And I hope that when they use this key tag, they'll remember me and think that I taught them in second grade, and I cared for them and watched over them all through the time that they were graduating. So happy graduation, graduates of class of 2022.